get a free plug in there. As far as Trump, I think, certainly some of his language probably is not as smooth and not as polished as the politicians. Wouldn't you say, Steve?
Please, that's an understatement. His own daughter saying that he needs to be more presidential. I disagree with the call. I think that this guy is absolutely he's frightening. Telling us that if we don't vote for him, we're going to have a serious recession. I mean, my God,
Well,
look.
I mean, I personally, Steve, and you may disagree. I never think we got out of the recession. I think we're still in a recession.
The Donald said exactly right, because the simple reason is that the law, if it was the law, guess what? It's not the law, because it's not the law of the land, because guess what? The Supreme Court can't make no laws. You understand? They lied to the people. It's not the law of the land, because guess what? Congress is the one that makes the laws. You see what I'm saying? Write the laws. So anyway, that's a lie right there. But he's saying if he's elected, if the law of the land, he'll make it the law of the land. And guess what? The law of the land. And if a woman would commit abortion, then she would have to pay the penalty for it. Because God said transgression of the law is lawbreaking. Is sin. So therefore, Donald is telling the truth, but the people cannot handle the truth.
Well, that remains to be seen, Ms. Violet. So we'll see what happens with the Donald and his campaign the rest of the way. Steve, any quick comments before we take some more?
Yeah, I thought that what the Donald has recently said is that he really wasn't saying that at all. I mean, he said it until, here's a guy who's supposed to not be controlled by anybody, then he flip-flops suddenly about something he knew nothing about. Really.
Well, I thought it's sort of interesting that people were initially saying, well, the guy's just pro-choice. He's really pro-choice. And then when he made his comments to Chris Matthews, they're like, oh, he's draconian pro-life. He's so far pro-life, even the pro-lifers don't go there. So he walked it back, and here's what I think about it. I think it's an issue where he's pro-life now. Mm-hmm. I do believe he's changed his position.
Okay.
But I don't think he's done deep research. I don't think he's done deep thinking into the issue. I don't think this has been at the top of his list of issues, and I think it was a question that caught him off guard and caused him trouble. That's how I view it.
Well, but he backed off of it. Here's a guy that's supposed to speak his mind, okay, and apparently, that's what he was doing. And now all of a sudden, he realizes that's not the political correct thing to say. So, the way I see it is that it just perpetrates, the whole concept that the guy is, in my mind at least, the guy's a real phony.
Well, you've had your view about him from the very beginning.
Sure.
But
everything
disagree with you.
And everything
I certainly do.
And everything he says just about it verifies. It's just ongoing. It's an ongoing story. Flip flop. You were against banging on Romney for a major flip flop on Obamacare, on Romneycare.
Apples and oranges. Romney had been a politician from the 90s. He was running an office in Massachusetts for senator and governor, and then he ran for president multiple times.
Sure.
This man has run for president now for the first time. He's never even run for a dog catcher. First time he's ever been a politician, ever run for any office.
This guy's been paying
apples and oranges. You're talking about a guy who's been a lifelong politician versus someone who's just jumped into a race. Never run before for anything.
This guy's been paying No, this guy has been, two things.
No, Steve, yeah. It's different being a contributor and being a businessman and being a politician. Okay? You're not going to tell me just because someone is a contributor that you're a politician. No. When you're a politician, you're running for office, your name is on a ballot. Okay? And Romney was a lifelong politician running for all these various offices. And that's much different from what Trump has done, jumping in for the first time ever, never running for anything before.
Jeff, all I can say is that, number one, okay, for him to say that he hasn't been part of the system, he is the system, okay, by the contributions, by the people that he has, politically extorted, Okay, I mean,
he extorted.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, even look, he has said.
So all the contributors to politicians, I mean, they're all extorting. So you're going to say that about everyone who contributes to a politician?
No, that's what Trump. No, that's what Trump has said. They don't control me. They don't control me. I mean, what has been his message? I cannot be controlled. Okay, so you give money, that means you can control, right?
He's not taking donations from any of the special interests, any of the lobbyists, and any of the big donors. You don't think there's anything refreshing about that?
When asked about his taking donations, contributions in the future, he certainly hasn't backed off from that, has he?
No, I'm talking about now.
Well, okay.
In a general election, he's gonna have to do something. I mean,
okay. So
$1 billion, but I'm saying up until now, Ted Cruz, millions of dollars from Wall Street. Jeb Bush, millions of dollars from Wall Street. Hillary, millions of dollars from Wall Street.
Why hasn't Trump? Zero. And Trump has been getting billions of dollars worth of free TV publicity, so he doesn't need all
Trump. He is.
Sure, he's a great personality. He's a great TV personality.
But again, Steve, he's taken no contributions from these major donors. And again, I'm waiting for you to say there's something refreshing about that.
I think. Is there something refreshing? Of course there's something refreshing about not taking money from donors. And I think that Bernie Sanders, quite frankly, somebody I would not vote for, is taking money from outside and from millions of contributors. So I think all that is refreshing. The thing is, however, that once the general election occurs, and once Donald is now a contestant in that general election, and he starts opening up his wallet to contributions from the outside, you cannot no longer make that argument.
I can make it now because I don't even know if he's going to be the nominee. I mean, with all the forces arrayed against him, I mean, I'm not willing to say he's going to be the nominee of the party. I mean, who knows? I mean, he might run third party. Who knows what's going to happen? Hey, let's get some more of these calls.
On the Trump thing, he's not a program politician. That's what a lot of people don't like about it. So he got groomed and so used to these program politicians and speak in a nice manner and all that. But when you get a tough guy up there that has courage, they get all offended. I don't understand that. It's like they've been groomed to be all sweet, be sweet and sugar. I mean, life's not sweet and sugar. There's some vinegar involved, something in it. But the thing about it I like about Trump is that, and this is really important, what is the most backbone thing that keeps a country strong and free?
The military.
The military.
Mm-hmm.
And look what this idiot up there in office has done to the military. That is so sad. And that's why I like Trump, that he understands how the world operates, because he's not in the arena. He's outside the arena watching all these idiots do deals that are not good for this country. And I think that's what your guest doesn't see.
Okay, well, I'm going to give him a chance to respond. Mr. Zach, good to hear from you, sir. Zach in Pearl River. Thank you. Mr. Steve?
I think experience is really important. I think that, you're not going to go to a brain surgeon if you need, dental care. You're not going to go to a dentist if you need brain surgery. I mean, this guy has no experience at all. Yeah, he's a contractor. He's a businessman. He builds nice towers. But, just the statements that he's made. Now, Jeff, you can say, well, he hasn't been a politician, and so therefore he hasn't thought it through. Excuse me, but, I want somebody with experience. Whether they're a politician or not, I want somebody with experience who knows the military, who knows the economy, who knows the government. No, for years now, for 8 years, and you've been right, Obama has not had the experience, okay? For 8 years, you said, okay, we need somebody with experience, and now we're going to bring somebody in who's apparently the only experience he has had was buying politicians. That makes a lot of sense, huh?
Well, I would say that's a very incomplete view of what he's been doing. I mean, he's built up an empire. I mean, he has had a successful television show for years. He's also been a pretty good father and had some great kids. And I think that's a very important thing that he's done. And I would say this, yeah, he's had business deals all over the world. So I think he knows the world more than Obama did going into office. I would say he's probably traveled to more countries than Obama did before he was elected president. So, yeah, Obama didn't have any experience. I think Donald Trump's got a lot more experience. He's 69 years old. He's been in the business world for decades. He knows this economy, I think, pretty well. What do we need, Steve? We need to, I think, restart this economy. I'd like to have someone in there who's actually created jobs and knows something about the economy.
Well, he doesn't know. He knows something about business. He knows about negotiating, but does he really know the economy? I mean, let me ask you this:
who's created a job that's running in this race? Anybody else? Anybody else
creating a job and knowing the economy are two different things, Jeff. I mean,
we got millions of people that are unemployed. I think job creation is a pretty important issue.
Do you respect the Tax Foundation?
I don't know what group you're talking about. The Tax Foundation?
Yeah, the Tax Foundation.
There's all kinds of different tax groups.
Okay, the Tax Foundation, which
Taxpayers Union. I mean, there are lots of
them. Sure. Well, the Tax Foundation said, look, he will increase the economy, the GDP, by $11 trillion. Okay, that's what they said, $11 trillion. Okay, the problem is that he will also cause a shortage to the public sector of $10 trillion. So it's going to be pretty hard to build the military, if you're $10 trillion short.
I'll say this. There are a lot of different people that have viewed his economic plan very favorably. I bring on Steve Moore, who I'm sure you've heard of, extremely well-known economist with FreedomWorks. He gives it high marks. I had him on the program the other day. So, yeah, you can bring on different people who say different things. Again, I would trust someone who knows a little bit about business and creating jobs and someone who's just been a politician.